In June this year, I completed a 3-week study tour in Thailand, where I was placed in a grade 6 classroom teaching disadvantaged children English. Much to my surprise, these students had a greater knowledge of English than we had been expecting, and so I had to drastically alter my lessons to cater for the right level. Differentiated instruction requires teachers to know their students well enough to cater for each individual learning needs. Differentiation is a way of ensuring that all students get as much as possible out of every single lesson. Gardner's multiple intelligences explains that each student needs to learn in a different way. Some prefer visual learning, while others prefer verbal or logical learning styles. I decided it was vital to prepare activities to suit a range of different styles and intelligences for my classroom.
Like game or puzzle?
I like to play board game. Do you like game or puzzle?
I like to solve puzzle.
Very good.
Triangle.
As a student art teacher, I understand the importance of using creativity within a mainstream classroom. I used craft activities to cater for visual and creative students, as well as games and puzzles that challenged the minds of our logical thinkers. Students were able to participate in an activity that best suited them while learning the relevant English content.
Do you play?
I can play the piano. What instrument do you play?
I can play the guitar.
Students were asked to make conversation with one another in English, challenging any style of learning and highly catering to the needs of any verbal linguistic learners. These activities gave students the opportunity to practice their new English speaking skills and gain confidence in speaking aloud. During my placement in Thailand, we completed an ACP that involved the grade 5 and 6 students participating in half a day of what we called English Camp. The students and principal at the school chose this format for us as a way for the students to reflect on the vocabulary learned in the classrooms, to give us a chance to teach them a little something about our own culture, as well as incorporating new language to the overall learning experience. Vygotsky's socio-cultural perspective theory says that learning of language is focused on social and cultural forces. This theory focuses on the idea that students develop their language skills through interaction and collaboration with their peers and teacher. Each Australian student teacher at the school took one group at a time in a rotation. Each rotation lasted 30 minutes and included activities ranging from arts and crafts, music and dance, to sports and games. Within each group, there was a focus sentence or key words the students would hopefully gain from the session, as well as key cultural knowledge of Australia. As a student art teacher, I undertook the art and craft section. I chose to focus on Australian animals, not only giving the students an extra sentence to learn in English, but more perspective of our culture and what we're used to seeing in our own country. Students were given a visual of 2 Australian animals, the kangaroo and koala, and asked to repeat the names of the animals. Afterwards, they completed the craft task, making a paper plate animal mask. The students then learnt the sentence, "My favourite Australian animal is," and finished it with the respective animal they had chosen for their mask. Example, "My favourite Australian animal is a kangaroo." Together we made a plan that was approved by our VU lecturers who were accompanying us in Thailand, as well as the teachers and principal at the school we were teaching at. The other PSTs chose to run music sessions, which included learning the hokey pokey, and sports sessions learning about Australian football. Each activity was accompanied by a focus sentence and overall key vocabulary knowledge. The ACP plan was put together with 5 separate sections, with each activity written by the respective pre-service teacher. Reflecting on my time in Thailand and our ACP project, it was clear that each of my lessons and our English camp received as much success as I could have imagined. Student competence was measured in various ways amongst each group. For mine, however, we simply asked the students to repeat their sentence before leaving the classroom. after the session in relation to the animal that they had chosen to make. As they had been using this sentence starter in the lessons over the previous weeks, most students were able to say and complete the sentence without any prompting. The students were able to make connections between the animals that they were seeing with myself and Australia, as well as understanding the vocabulary that they were using. After leaving this placement and completing an ACP, I learnt a lot about myself as a teacher. It was a difficult experience learning about culture and teaching students who don't speak the same language. However, from this ACP and placement, I realised how important learning about culture and traditions of other countries as well as those of your own. As a group, we had to think hard about what the most important and relatable cultural experiences we could teach our students in order for them to gain as much knowledge about our lives back home in Australia.